My name's Karen Kolbe, and I am coming to you today as Mother Goose. I like to read, and I hope you like to have stories read to you. This is Feathers. Feathers comes along with me when I'm reading to boys and girls. So Feathers is going to listen. I like to read golden books and Mother Goose poems and fairy tales. And this one is called The Little Golden Book, named 101 Dalmatians. Boys and girls, can you count to 101? That's a lot, isn't it? Well, this is about 101 Dalmatians. Dalmatians are puppies. They're white puppies with black spots. They're cute, aren't they? Okay, let's see what happens in this story. Pongo, Perdita, and their 15 puppies lived in a cozy little house in London. Their humans lived there too. Roger, who was tall and thin and played the piano, and Anita, who laughed a lot. They all got along splendidly. Then one day, the doorbell rang. The ring sounded, and in came Cruella de Vil, Anita's old friend from school. Uh-oh. I'm so glad the puppies have finally gotten their spots, Cruella said, stroking their soft fur. I'll pay for them now. Pay for the puppies? Gasped Anita. Oh, Cruella, we couldn't part with them. Don't be silly, Anita, said Cruella. You can't possibly keep 15 puppies. We are not selling them, said Roger, and that's final. Furious, Cruella stamped out of the house. One frosty night a few weeks later, Pongo and Perdita went out for a walk with Roger and Anita. The puppies were at home asleep in their basket. Suddenly, two men burst into the house. They put all the puppies into a big bag, and they carried the bag out to their truck and sped away. Uh-oh, look at these two. They don't look very nice, do they? They took all the puppies. After being in the truck for what seemed like hours, the 15 puppies found themselves in a room filled with many other Dalmatian puppies. On a couch in front of the television set were the two nasty men who had kidnapped them. The other Dalmatians told them that the men worked for Cruella de Vil, who had bought the puppies from a pet store. Back at home, Pongo and Perdita were horrified to find their puppies missing. It's that evil Cruella de Vil, Perdita said, sobbing. She has stolen our puppies. Oh, Pongo, do you think we'll ever find them? I have a plan, said Pongo. Let's try the twilight bark. The twilight bark was a system of long and short barks used by the dogs to pass along news. Here they are. They're trying to figure out how to get their puppies back. The next evening, Pongo and Perdita went out on another walk with Roger and Anita. While the Dalmatians were out, they barked long and loud. They wanted all the puppies in London to be on the lookout for their puppies. Pongo waited for someone to answer his barks. It was a very cold night, and most dogs were inside. Then Perdita added her bark to Pongo's, and at last they heard a reply. Message received. Most sorry about your puppies. Will do all I can to help spread the word, howled a Great Dane. Look at this Great Dane. That's a big doggy. He heard them barking, and he's going to help them, isn't he? That night, the twilight bark even reached a quiet farm where an old sheepdog known as the Colonel lay sleeping. Alert! Alert! Shouted Sergeant Tibbs, a cat who lived on the farm. Vital message coming in from London. And here they are out in the woods where they lived. It's all snowy and it's cold. Oh my goodness. The Colonel lifted up one shaggy ear to listen to the faint message. 15 puppies have been stolen, he cried. I heard the puppies barking at the old DeVille mansion, said Tibbs. You don't suppose. The colonel barked a message back to London. Then he told Tibbs, we should investigate right away. They headed straight for the gloomy old DeVille mansion. Tibbs held on tight to the colonel's back as he rushed through the snow. And here's the colonel, with Tibbs the cat hanging onto his back. They're going to investigate. Once they arrived, Tibbs climbed up onto the colonel's shoulders. He peeked through an open window. Good night, said the cat when he saw all the puppies. There are a whole lot of you. I'm looking for 15 puppies who were stolen from London. I was stolen, cried Lucky, one of the puppies, and so were my brothers and sisters. The men heard the noise and went to investigate. Tibbs and the colonel ran away, but not before promising to get help. Here are the men watching TV, and all the puppies were with them, all the puppies that they had kidnapped. The next morning, Cruella de Vil arrived in her car. It's got to be done today, she cried. But you couldn't get a dozen coats out of the whole caboodle, protested one of her men, pointing to the puppies. Then I'll have to settle for half a dozen. Just do it. She dashed off and then roared off in her car. Sergeant Tibbs and the colonel had returned just in time to hear Cruella give the order. You kids better get out of here before they make coats out of you, he said. Then he shoved one of the puppies toward a hole in the wall. It's too small, protested the pup. Squeeze, ordered Tibbs, and the puppy got through. One by one, the other puppies followed through the hole in the wall. Here's Tibbs trying to help the chubby puppy through the hole. And he made it, didn't he? He got out. Suddenly, the two thugs realized that the puppies were escaping. The chase was on. Tibbs and the puppies scooted through the dark halls of the mansion. Soon they found themselves trapped at a dead end. The thugs raised their clubs to hit them. At that moment, Pongo and Perdita crashed through the window with a breaking of glass and cold air. The angry Dalmatian parents fought off the astonished men as all the puppies scampered for safety. Look, Pongo and Perdita, they're making sure that the men can't catch those puppies again. When the van was ready, the dogs marched outside. One after another, soot-covered, they were lifted into the van. They had thanked the colonel and Tibbs and said goodbye. Then they hurried toward London. Pongo and Perdita led the way, their 15 puppies and all the other Dalmatian puppies right behind them. When they reached a frozen stream, they carefully crossed the slippery surface so they wouldn't leave paw prints. Then they resumed the race home. All along the route, the Dalmatians were helped by other dogs. A black lab retriever arranged for them to ride to London in a moving van. The Dalmatians waited in a shed while the van was being fixed. Uh-oh, Cruella's big car pulled up outside. Somehow she had followed their tracks. Oh, Pongo, said Perdita, how will we get them into the van? Pongo noticed lots of ashes in the fireplace. If they all rolled in the soot, they would look like black labs. When the van was ready, all the dogs marched out. They were soot-covered, and the puppies were lifted into the van. Before Pongo had a chance to pick up the last one, a clump of snow fell from the shed onto the puppy. Pongo snatched up the pup, but the snow had washed away the soot. From her car, Cruella could see the white fur and black spots. They're escaping, she shouted as the van moved away. Faster and faster went the van, but Cruella's car grew closer and closer. She was screaming in anger. Then she began to yell in fear. Her car skidded on the icy road. She tried to stop it, but her car spun around and around and around and landed in a ditch. The last the Dalmatians saw of Cruella, she was standing beside her wrecked car, having a nasty temper tantrum. Here she is down in the ditch with her car. When the van reached the cozy little house in London, Roger and Anita were overjoyed, and when they counted the dogs, they discovered they now had 101 Dalmatians. "We'll just have to buy a bigger house, one in the country," said Roger. "We'll have Dalmatian Plantation." And that's exactly what they did. Pongo, Perdita, and all the spotted puppies lived happily ever after. Look at these puppies. Some of them have gotten washed off, but some of them still have some soot on them, don't they? So they look a little bit like black labs. They're going to have a house full of puppies, aren't they? They're going to have 101 Dalmatians. Sometime when you don't have anything to do, see if you can count to 101. That takes a long time, and that's how many Dalmatian puppies there were. I hope you like that story, boys and girls. Hi, and we read some stories about puppies today, and it just so happens that Bruce and I got a puppy for Christmas. This is Baxter. Baxter, look at the camera. No, Baxter's not going to look at the camera right now. He's going to chew. He's just a puppy. He is part Pomeranian and part poodle. He's a Pomadoodle. And he is really a good boy. He sleeps through the night. He sleeps through the night. He eats his food really well. He likes to cuddle. He likes kisses. He is really a sweet little puppy. The only problem is he likes to chew. Puppies like to chew, and their teeth are really sharp when they're puppies. He chews on everything, even me. Yeah, even me. But he'll learn not to do that because he is really a smart puppy. Okay, can you wave to the boys and girls? Hi, boys and girls. Hi. Yes. Okay. Okay, are you ready to go out? I think he's ready to go outside. So we'll say goodbye, boys and girls. Goodbye. Can you say goodbye? He says, no, I want to chew on your sweater, on your shawl. Yes, I do.